So you know how leg locks work on tripods, right? Well, mine wasn't. I saved this tripod from being discarded of because other than this small but admittedly problematic fault, it was otherwise working perfectly, so it felt wrong not to give it a chance. Our job here is to fix the little broken off plastic piece where the peg would normally slide into, holding the latch in place properly. The issue here is that the goal of our plastic surgery was not only to restore the missing bit, but it also had to withstand force when the latch is in closed position, holding an amount of weight at the top, meaning the camera and any other accessories like lights and a mic. First, I tried to use 2-part epoxy putty. You mix these two parts together and in 12-ish hours it should cure into something strong and sandable. Now I don't know what happened to mine, but I left it for 48 hours instead of 12 and it still looked like a sad piece of gum stuck on the bottom of a rundown school desk. Not to worry, not to worry. Second, I tried the famous superglue and baking soda recipe. This was very promising. You dip the superglued area into a pile of baking soda and this should form a strong bond that is also sandable after curing, which only takes a couple of seconds. I found it important to get rid of the residue of powder left behind, otherwise there was going to be layer separation making our bond weak. I was able to sand this afterwards and even drill it to match the hole size to the diameter of my peg so it can fit through. But then this happened. After this, I spent another 2 hours trying to rebuild another superglue fix and another one, but those broke too. I was getting really frustrated at this point. So you know when you get so fixated on solving a problem you forget to look at the big picture? Well, I forgot to look at the big picture. After hours of struggle, looking up methods and tutorials, trying and failing, then trying again, imagine your friend suddenly going, "Well, why don't you use this?" Apparently, all I had to do was to get a winged Jubilee clip, or even an old bike light attachment. Get some old rubber pieces on the inside for friction, slap it on there, screw it in place, done. It makes perfect sense and it works like a charm. I'm so happy and so mad at the same time. Well, I actually still had a chance to redeem myself because I also needed a way to fix my phone holder attachment onto this tripod because that's the level of videographic professionalism we're dealing with on this channel. The tripod came with a broken off piece from what I think used to be a DSLR attachment that uses a bigger screw. As my phone holder I've got has much smaller screws, I had to make a converter to marry these two together. I had to find a piece of plastic that I could use as my converter piece. So I started to have a very enthusiastic rummage through my hoarding box. Warning! In the event of very enthusiastic rummaging with no regard whatsoever to what sharp and pokey objects might be sticking out of said box, it is advisable not to lean too far into it, otherwise you may find yourself poking your own eye out, going to accident and emergency in the middle of a pandemic and having a cool blue light shown upon your face by the coolest doctor ever, leaving you with a very unique version of an eye piercing. Be careful, guys. Anyway, back to the DIY. Before the hospital visit, I did actually uncover a plastic tab from a roll of wire, so I was happy. I drilled 2 holes in this, one for the DSLR larger screw and one smaller one for my phone attachment. There was still a gap, so I cut up some plastic bottle caps to act as extra DIY washers, helping in tightening the screw secure. Then I attached the crown jewel, the phone holder itself, and ta-da! My tripod is back to functionality. It's a bit rough around the edges, I'll admit, but I'm so happy with this still because instead of this thing ending up in trash, probably on landfill, I'll be able to get good use out of it for hopefully years to come. Fix your things if you can, people. It really is satisfying. Hope this helped at least a little bit. Thanks for watching.